Hey, it's Greg here. Let's take a look at my charcuterie cabinet this month. See, it just turned off. It's a little dry because the compressor's been running, but we're at 55 degrees. Quickly coming back up to 80% humidity. Got some duck prosciutto in here to weigh up. Got a couple of culatello prosciuttos. Got my copa. Couple of pancettas. Salami, it's a duck salami. Or no, that's I'm sorry. That's a chorizo. Got some sujuk. Couple of duck salamis. This is my truffle salami. Got some andouille. A lamb prosciutto. You know, these are pretty new. These just went in a week ago. I'm not going to weigh them up today. And these, I know are already done. So those are coming out. But let's weigh everything else up. See where we're at. Don't really have to weigh this because it just went in 8 days ago. So in the first 8 days, this has lost 10% of its weight. Want it to get to 40% weight loss. But that's not just going to be another 3 weeks. Just because it was 10% in 1 week doesn't mean it's going to be there in 4 weeks. It's going to take a bit longer. But you'll see that next month when we do the same thing. Next, let's take a look at the duck salami. Different meats dry at different rates. This has only been in there for 6 days. Well, apparently duck dries a lot quicker because these have both lost 20%. And even though this one's a lot shorter than the other, it's really about the girth as far as how long it takes to dry. So these are already halfway there. Imagine that'll slow way down real soon here. Now the andouille, I don't think it's probably dried much because it is mostly fat. It has dried a little, but not much. This has lost 4% of its weight, but the andouille is not really about the weight loss. It's just more a matter of time to develop flavor. Because at 70% fat, it's never going to lose 30% of its weight. Duck prosciutto. I did not put any of this Penicillium nalgiavensis on here, but you can see it's growing on here anyway. That's what happens when you have a good amount of that in your cabinet. That one's at 20% weight loss. And the smaller one's at 24% weight loss. And that's over the course of 11 days. So these are pretty quick drying. It's a pretty fast charcuterie if you want to try something that doesn't take that long. This is a lamb prosciutto. I also did not put any mold 600 Penicillium nalgiavensis on this one, and it's growing it pretty well too. Again, because I just have a lot of it growing in my cabinet. And this here is at 15% weight loss after the first 11 days. But that will slow down quite a bit, I imagine. So yeah, lamb prosciutto. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that one. Now this one I'm pretty excited about. This is the saucisson d'Arles. But what's exciting about this one is I infused the pork fat with truffles before making the salami. I'm pretty excited about this one. This is at 33.5% weight loss, and it has been in there for 2 months and a week. In the last 2 weeks, it's only lost 1.5%. So you can really see how drying slows down as it goes along. All things in there, they lose their moisture from the outside first. So all the moisture from the inside has to make its way to the outside before it evaporates off. And as it gets drier, it just takes longer for that core to dry. Oh my. Culatello prosciutto from a big old 400-pound pig. These culatellos are a little different. So I figure out the percentage on these is I take their current weight and I divide it by the starting weight minus 1. That gives me the percentage of weight of moisture loss. However, I added this sunya layer partway through. So what I have to do is take its current weight. I have to subtract the amount of that is sunya, because the sunya has its own weight. That's how much the meat actually weighs. So now I can divide that by its starting weight, minus 1. And I know that this has lost 23% of its weight. That's where we're at with this one. And the other culatello from the same pig. So I do the same thing. 49.55. minus the weight of the Sunya divided by its starting weight minus 1. 24% weight loss on this one. These have been in there about 3 months, but their drying is going to slow way down. 1, because it always dries quicker at the beginning, and 2, because I got all the Sunya on here, which is just rice flour and lard. It slows down the drying tremendously, giving it time to develop flavor. Now the Copa, the Gabagool, Capicola, whatever you want to call it, many names. This is my fall flavor one. And it's been in there almost 5 months. So for this, I just take its current weight and divide that by its starting weight. Minus 1. We're at 37% moisture loss. Could take it out, but I'm going to keep it in there for another month at least. And this has lost 2% in the last month. So it might actually stay in there more than a month to get to 40. If I want it to get to 40% moisture loss. But it's pretty good to go right now. Could go either way. I'm going to put it back in there. Calabrian Capicola. Much more traditional than the fall flavor one. It's 2. It's at about 37.5%. So this could also come out, but I might as well just leave it for another month. Now these big old pancettas. This has only lost 12 grams in the last month. So much fat in these bellies that they do dry really slow. It's at 24% weight loss. It's still losing its weight slowly. This has been in there for 13 months now. Pretty long time for a pancetta, but I'm putting it back in. This is the fattest section off of that same belly. That's only lost 6 grams in the last month. But it's still only at 19.5% moisture loss. So that probably has a ways to go if I want it to get to 25%, which is usually what I try to do with the pancetta. And this is the skinniest part of that same belly. It too has only lost 6 grams in the last month. It is at 27% moisture loss. And I believe I am going to pull this one out right now to make room in my cabinet for other things. 27%, perfectly good for a pancetta. Most things, you got to get them to 30% to be safe to eat. But with the high fat content, some bellies just won't get to 30%. This one's staying out. This Culatella prosciutto is from last year. It's at 38% moisture loss. I could take it out, but I think I'm going to really try to get this all the way to 40% moisture loss. And that's pretty much what I got, folks. Well, I got the giant leg. I meant to take that out last month. Let's see if it's lost any more weight. All right. You know, I'm just a little scared about this because I didn't butcher it right. This whole section shouldn't have been on here. Still got that ball joint in there where I believe some things could go wrong. And this whole thing might just be a big waste of time and space and meat, which I hate to do. Hate to waste anything off an animal. Well, I'm going to hope for the best, but I think I am going to throw it back on in there for now. It's lost 30% of its weight since it went into my cabinet, and 39% of its weight from the time I very first started brining it or curing it in the salt. So it's lost enough moisture to be safe to eat, and it has been in there for, it's been in there for 26 months. I don't know. I'm going to put it back in, deal with it later. If you want to see any videos of the things you've seen me weigh up today, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Put some love into the food you're making. Peace.